I usually avoid anything horror related because I like being able to sleep at night, but I'm glad I made an exception for this anime called Another. Interestingly, I didn't find this show to be too scary. It felt more like a mystery and a suspense show. The only thing that creeped me out were the dolls that showed up throughout the show. Quick spoiler warning, I know this show is old, but if you haven't watched it yet, come back after you have. At the beginning of the show, I was fooled and thought that Mei Misaki was actually dead. Seeing her walk into the dark basement of the hospital, sit at the rundown desk in the classroom, and be present at the creepy doll shop all made me think that she was dead. The eye patch also didn't help. I assumed that her eye patch covered up a messed up eye and maybe was related to how she had died. Her skin tone was also super pale and made her appear to be dead. It seems like that trick was done on purpose, so I applaud the show for fooling me. I started to suspect that she was alive when I saw her opening and closing the classroom door. If she were a ghost, why would she need to use a door? Also, people probably would have freaked out or noticed if the classroom door opened and they didn't see anybody there. Very little information was given to us at the start, and I think that was a good thing because the mystery behind the curse was really interesting. Not knowing the answers kept me curious and interested enough to watch several episodes at a time. My wife kept laughing at my frustration in the earlier episodes when characters were refusing to reveal any information. I don't know how people handled watching this weekly back in the day. That must have been torture. I really liked the idea of ignoring a student for the sake of sparing everyone's lives. It was a cruel idea, but I thought that it seemed believable enough. They were simply desperate and were willing to do anything to try and spare as many lives as possible from the curse. When I finally learned the details of the curse, I was temporarily satisfied, because the next mystery was figuring out which person in the class was the extra. Every episode, I kept changing my mind on who I thought was the dead person. Oh my goodness, the whole arc at the school trip was so crazy. As soon as the students discovered that the only way to break the curse for that year was to kill the imposter, so many people started to act irrationally. I mentioned desperation earlier. It was crazy to see the portrayal of how unreasonable humans can be when backed into a corner for self-preservation. It was almost ironic seeing them attack each other. They wanted to end the curse so that people would stop dying, but they were willing to kill each other to stop it. I was really shocked to find out Reiko was the extra. In fact, I had actually forgotten that she worked at the school as the assistant to the homeroom teacher. It was crazy discovering that since there were a few hints laid out earlier in the show. The big one was Koichi's grandfather saying he was tired of funerals and mentioned his mother Ritsuko and his aunt Reiko. I misunderstood that line when he said it. I thought he meant, oh, poor Reiko. It must have been hard for her to bury her sister, not, oh, poor Reiko, she died. It was so tragic for Koichi to deal the killing blow. Reiko was the closest thing he had to a mother since he lost his at birth. Early in the series, I thought Koichi was so dumb for constantly digging further as tragedies kept happening. I initially thought he was a dumb horror protagonist that would eventually die due to his curiosity. Ironically enough, if it weren't for him constantly trying to get closer to Mei, she wouldn't have revealed Reiko as the fake. So his curiosity and digging ended up helping to stop the curse that year. The ending was bittersweet. Sure, they ended the curse for that year, but so many people had already died, and the curse wasn't really solved for good and would likely happen again soon. Our main character Koichi didn't really have much character development. I felt that he was supposed to be who we, the viewer, could relate to. We were sort of seeing this messed up world through his eyes. I think that Mei was the best developed character of the show. She started off as seeming like a strange and creepy girl, but learning more about her backstory showed why she was the way she was. She acted so gloomy all the time because her twin sister died. She always wore her eye patch because her doll eye let her see people who were close to death. She was scarred by seeing death approaching her twin sister. Her gloominess only got worse because she was chosen to be ignored by her class. Koichi getting close to her seemed to help her become a bit less gloomy over time though. Since I'm more into romantic comedy anime, I was sort of relieved when this ended. I really liked it, but the constant suspense sort of stressed me out, so I gave this a solid 8 out of 10 on my anime list. I know that a sequel book was written, so I hope that gets animated too. Thanks for watching.